So I've been editing with the new software, and it's there's a learning curve, so it takes a while. It's a lot of work. So far the software seems to be performing really well. Haha, just kidding. No, seriously. Once I get to the point where I'm comfortable and it's second nature to hit all the correct control whatever keys to cut, paste, and do this and do that, I think I'm going to really like this software. All right, so let's get right back into this. All right, so next up, I spotted this pulley, and I was like, boy, that's a nice step pulley. Pretty sure this is off of a drill press. It's a 5-sheave pulley, 5-step pulley for changing speeds on a drill press, more than likely. And I had recalled that I have an old Delta Rockwell drill press that I picked up a while back, which is going to be a future project. And other than, I think, just really needing to be derusted and cleaned and lubricated, it doesn't really need much. And the one thing that was wrong with it was I noticed that it had a broken sheave on the pulley, on one of these step pulleys. Now, I don't recall. I was going by memory, so I have no idea whether or not this is even close to the correct size. I don't remember if that was a 4-step or a 5-step or whatever. But I knew, because this guy was selling stuff so cheap, that I could get this really cheap. And sure enough, I got this for $3. So my thought is, hey, even if this isn't the right one, maybe I can adapt it for use on that drill press. And even if I can't do that, I could probably resell this to somebody who could use it, because it's a decent looking pulley. It's missing the grub screw, and there's one dent. This obviously was thrown around, and not. There's one little dent right here, but I mean that's so small of an imperfection. We could probably, I don't know. I could probably bend that back out after I heat it up a little bit, or might just leave it alone. Anyways, that's a hell of a deal for $3. And then I actually, before I even paid for this, I put together a pile because I saw a couple of the pulleys. I figured, even if I don't need them right now, no sense in just leaving them there. So I got him to throw these two in. This looks like, I don't know, this could be anything. This could be off an old washing machine, or it could be off a air compressor. I don't know. So, a couple of cast aluminum pulleys may or may not be worth anything. And then I got this thing also for a couple of bucks. And, I immediately knew what this was, especially because of the sticker residue, or adhesive backing residue left on this. This is a disc for more than likely could very well be a Delta Rockwell sanding disc. It's a 12-inch, okay, cast aluminum. All right. So occasionally, I see these come up on eBay because somebody may have purchased one of these sanders. There was 2 versions of these style sanders. There was one where it was just a 12-inch disc, so it's just a motor where this mounts on the shaft, and it sits on a stand, and it's got a table on the side, and it's just a 12-inch disc sander. And then they made the combination one, which I have a couple of, which is the disc on the side, and then a 6x48-inch belt sander, which can be either upright or some of them actually lay down. So sometimes somebody will come across a combination sander that for some reason somebody had taken the disc off and the disc was lost. So, or maybe the discs get damaged, I don't know. But I don't know, for whatever reason though, this is actually a marketable item to some people. So I figured, hey, for what I paid for it, no problem. That might even fit. I don't know. I was going to say that might fit in a medium flat rate box, one of those skinny ones, but I don't think so. So anyways, that'll probably end up going to eBay, since I don't really have much use for it. Oh, just a quick revisit to this. I am now convinced that this is not a Delta, which is unfortunate because the Delta ones online, they bring anywhere from 60 to 90 bucks used. But the Delta ones all have basically just a disc with 3 holes in it that countersunk screws go into to attach this to a hub. This is actually a separate piece with a hub, and they're probably more stout than this. This being a one-piece casting, this is probably a Craftsman. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to find one of these online. I'd have to actually do some backtracking and probably dig out a part number. There's no casting numbers or anything on this, so we're not going to identify it this way. It makes a nice chime. You know, it was funny. I just happened to stumble across something listed, and it made me think about it for a second there. The other possibility on these kind of large spoked pulleys like this, when you find them, this actually could be a wheel for a bandsaw. Because I've actually seen these style where they use what looks like a V-belt as the actual tire material. So I don't know, I might be completely off my beam on this one. It just thought I'd mention it. So again, this is all precast. I don't see any numbers on it anywhere, so unfortunately not going to probably be able to identify it. Actually, I should clean it up. Maybe there is a number somewhere I'm missing. But anyways, just a thought. Could be actually a wheel for a bandsaw. It would be a small one, but hey, they made small bandsaws, right? Next up is another angle plate. Okay, I say another because I've got quite a few angle plates. I've sold some off over the years, but my my collection's still pretty thick. Thick. Anyways, all right. So we got some surface rust here. Would need to be cleaned up. This does not appear to be. Well, I can't really tell. I don't think this is a homemade shop made one because this appears to be a cast iron casting. Anyways, it's a decent little angle plate. It's 5 by 6 by 5, which I think 5 by 5 by 6 is one of the standard Suburban tool company and Taft Pierce sizes. But I don't believe this is a Taft Pierce because all of the Taft Pierce that I have owned have been clearly marked somewhere that they are in fact Taft Pierce. And I do not see anything to indicate on here. So we got a few oopsies here. We got a little oops there, and we got a oops there. And then I'm not convinced that these holes are original to this thing because, well, there we got an oops there. Oops there. Got a countersunk hole there. What the hell's that for? I don't know. We got an oops there. It's had a hard life. But, this is something I don't even want to bother trying to ship to one of my buyers of tools. So it's the kind of thing that it'll beat the hell out of the box. I'd have to make probably a special box just to help it survive the trip. So I'll probably sell it for short money locally. And if I can't get anything for it locally, then the hell with it. I'll just I'll keep it as a beater angle plate. Maybe, keep it over with my welding stuff. And occasionally when I need to clamp something vertical. The guy put his name in it. I guess in case he was going to loan it to somebody. So it's definitely a beater. It's probably, I don't know how accurate it is. Well, hold on. Let me get a measurement. Degrees, 0 minutes, 2 seconds. Hey, it's actually pretty good. All right. Now the 30 taper This is a Scully Jones of Chicago 30 taper holder, and methinks based on the spacers and the big old arbor nut here and everything, that this is for a cutter like this. Okay, so I do not have a machine that takes a 30 taper. The Wells Index mill takes an R8. Yeah, so we'll sell that. Big old Jacobs chuck. Judging by the inside here, it looks like it was only installed maybe once, or maybe never installed at all. I don't know. Actually appears to be sawdust down inside there. I wonder if this was used on wood. But this is a 25 T4 Jacobs, so it's a 1/8 to 3/4 capacity, a number 4 Jacobs taper. Now this is a Supreme chuck heavy duty ball bearing. So the good news is this is a big ball bearing chuck. The bad news is this is a very early ball bearing chuck. I think it is, because that number is kind of funky. But do I care? No. Do I need it? No. I'm going to find a key that fits it, make sure this isn't all seized up, and I'm going to make somebody happy with a really good deal on a big chuck. And we have a live center. Yeah, so this is a Favor, Favor DS3A live center. And interestingly enough, there's a screw here that says oil, so you're supposed to take that screw out and oil this before use. But what I'm seeing down in here appears to be grease maybe coming out of this, so I'm wondering whether or not somebody packed this with grease instead. The good news is it spins freely and really doesn't make any bad noises, so I think it's going to be a good one. I don't know what this taper is. I'll have to hold on to this until I sort out my my situation here as far as live and dead centers. I have more than I need, but I don't want to sell anything until I know for sure what I'm going to use for the Hendy and what I'm going to use for the Vernon. You know, I've got one I think for the Vernon now. I don't remember what the taper is in the tailstock on the Hendy, and I'm hoping that it's not one of those mongrel ones, because I've heard about Hendy's using like a 4.5 Morse taper. I think was one of the ones that I've heard about, which is, you know, kind of funky. But it works nice and smooth. This cone is not damaged. Okay. I wonder what the threaded end is for. I wonder if there was another smaller cone or point that you could screw into this to get even smaller stuff, to use it on even smaller items. I don't know. So I've got this drawer here with overload, lathe mandrels, unsorted reamers, live and dead centers. So this is where I put all my currently orphan live and dead centers. Look at that freaking big one there. Guess I could sell that one right away. Oh, well, that one needs a little love. This one practically new. There's one in a case. Oh, well, there you go. So that's what I think is missing from maybe that one. Had something like this that's screwed in the end. Alright, let's look at what's left. More slitting saws and little cutters. Really thin kerf stuff. Cleveland Twist Drill Company, good brand name. These still have a little bit of oil or something on them, keeping them from rusting. Circular Tool Company, Providence, Rhode Island. I already found a few of those, right? There's a whole bag more of Bagmore. Here's Bagmore. Yeah, that's going to be my copyrighted name for my new company that sells Asian import stuff. All right, that's a nice cutter there. I would go right on that, huh? Sure it would. All right. And I don't know, I don't even remember if this was what was in here, but I looked at this little brown and sharp box. I said, oh, that's a nice little brown and sharp box. Unfortunately, it doesn't have anything brown and sharp in it. It's loaded with big honking carbide inserts. Big square ones. Funny thing is, I think I can actually use these. I think I actually have some old holders that I can use these in. There's a chip on that one. But normally, you get, 4 cutting edges. One edge dulls or breaks, just flip it over and you get 4 out of 1. Some of them, if they have 0 rake, you have flip it over and you get 8. But this one has a, what do you call it? Positive rake when it, I don't know. Yeah. Anyways. Yeah, let's just slop them in there and chip them. Oh yeah, as long as we're on the subject of inserts. I went through some of those drawers and other areas as I was looking around, and I found every single insert that I could find in the place and threw them in this box. And there's also, well, let's deal with these first. In addition to the inserts, I also came across these. And what these are replacement gauge pins. These are Meyer Gauge Company. So this is from a Meyer gauge pin set. I'm assuming that these were maybe bought for specific jobs or as replacement pins for pins that were missing out of a set and they weren't put back in the set. I don't know. But they're just various sizes, and they were all Meyers, and they were all brand new by the looks of it. Meyer Gauge Pin Incorporated of South Windsor, Connecticut. So that's a .379, that's a .165, and there's a really little one there, but I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, looks like I got 6 new old stock gauge pins. And then, of course, this is just all inserts, and a lot of these inserts are going to be obsolete, probably not make a damn bit of use to me. I mean, I've got a whole lot of odd inserts that I've picked up over the years cheap. So I kind of know the drill. Some of these, maybe they could be brazed onto a piece of tool steel and used to make a boring bar or a special purpose, application. But I mean, I probably paid about $10 for the whole box here. I mean, and there's a lot. There's a lot in here. And actually, that's not even the same as what's in this box. See, there's two different. That's a mismatch. This box actually is almost full of these, which are thicker than that. So I don't know. But I'm not going to bore you guys with looking through all these inserts. I'm liable to nod off and fall off the stool if I just sit here going through all of these things. Just taking a real quick look to see if there's anything really kind of cool and interesting. A-Bomb did a good video a while back on understanding the nomenclature of the numbers on these inserts. Like this is a TNMG, and basically it kind of tells you about the use of the insert. And then some of these just have like weird numbers on them, so they're not prescribing to the standardized system. The hell? Oh, what are these? All right, so these are funky. Wow, these are little brazed carbide tip brazed cutters. Appears to be a whole box of them. TRW brand. All right, enough of that. Then I got this this whole assortment right here. This was just an add-on, so I'm probably into this whole assortment for $5. And what these are cutters, I believe, for a geometric die head, but these are actually for chasing threads. So I don't know whether or not this would have been like for a like an old Brown and Sharp screw machine. So my thought was, because I was getting them for next to nothing, take a chance on them. And they were actually in this metal drawer. He didn't have like the whole thing, the whole cabinet, so he just let me take it with the drawer. But there's just basically every single one of these boxes contains another set of cutters. Now I don't have the head, couldn't find the head anywhere amongst any of this stuff. But again, my thinking was this might be something that would be a good resale item. This says 1 set all ground supermetric chasers. So it says 5/16 inch DS 1/8 projection, number 12. Oh, it says to cut number 1224 NC screws, 45-degree chamfer, 2-degree hook on the face grind. So if I wanted to make 1224, so if I could identify the head that these would fit in, I could actually buy a head probably somewhere, and then I would have I would be able to chase threads of a whole bunch of different sizes based on what I have sitting here. I think where it says style 5/16 inch DS 1/8 inch projection, I think that probably would be the clue to figure out what geometric die head that would fit. Yep, I just checked online. So the DS is definitely, it denotes the series of the die head that these fit. And the cheapest one I could find is a used one on eBay right now for about $140 for the head. And there's even somebody who's looking to try and get over $300 for a used head. So I don't think I'm going to be buying a head or acquiring a head anytime soon. And since I can sell these, apparently there is a market for these. Some of these are selling used as much as over $20 for one set of these, or as little as $8 for a set. Even at $8 a piece times this many, I can actually make a decent chunk of change off of these with a little bit of time and patience. So I guess I'm going to send these down the road